The sun hadn't even shown up yet, but Aaliyah was already up, standing in front of her cracked mirror, brushing her curls back into a neat bun. Her tiny apartment smelled like cheap coffee and cocoa butter lotion. She pulled on her thrift store blazer, grabbed her old purse, and whispered to her reflection, "Let's get this bread, girl." That was her morning mantra. No matter how tired, no matter how broke, she said it like a prayer. Aaliyah was only 23, but she'd already seen more struggle than most folks twice her age. Her mom had been sick for months, and the hospital bills stacked higher than her dreams. Every paycheck mattered. Every single dollar had a destination. She didn't have time to be lazy or late, not when her whole world depended on her clocking in. Her new job at Luxe Lace Boutique wasn't exactly the dream gig, but it paid better than flipping burgers. And honestly, she loved fashion. The store was one of those fancy spots downtown where rich girls spent hundreds on a single jacket just because it looked aesthetic. The air inside always smelled like vanilla candles and expensive lies. Still, Aaliyah smiled through it. She knew how to play the part. Bright smile, polite, "Good morning, ma'am," and the kind of patience that could win awards. She clocked in early that morning, like she always did. Her manager, Mr. Collins, was already there. Lean, slick hair, shiny shoes, and a smile that never reached his eyes. He had this fake friendly vibe, always calling her kiddo, in a tone that felt more like shade than affection. "Morning, Aaliyah," he said, sipping his coffee, looking her up and down like he was inspecting her instead of greeting her. "Morning, sir," she replied, voice steady even though she wanted to roll her eyes. Mr. Collins had a habit of nitpicking everything she did. If she folded a shirt, he'd unfold it and redo it just to show off. If she helped a customer, he'd step in halfway and take the credit. Aaliyah bit her tongue every time. She couldn't afford to lose this job, not over some ego trip. By 10 a.m., the boutique was buzzing. Customers floated in like perfume, rich, talkative, and demanding. Aaliyah handled it all with grace. She had this gift of making people feel comfortable, like she genuinely cared about how that dress looked on them. Some customers even asked for her by name. But she noticed how Mr. Collins always watched her from behind the counter, pretending to work on his laptop, but keeping one eye on her. It was creepy, but she shrugged it off. At lunch, she sat outside on the back steps, unwrapping a peanut butter sandwich from foil. Her phone buzzed. It was her mom texting. "Mom, how's work, baby?" "Aaliyah, all good, mama. Just tired, You always tired. Don't forget, you got purpose bigger than that store." Aaliyah smiled. Her mom had this way of keeping her grounded, even when everything felt heavy. The rest of the shift went smooth. She restocked shelves, folded endless piles of denim, and helped a lady find the perfect red heels for her anniversary. When the clock hit 8 p.m., Aaliyah closed up the store, counted cash, double-checked the registers, locked the stockroom. Everything was in order. She even stayed an extra 20 minutes to wipe down the glass doors. That's just who she was, responsible to the core. But while she was locking up, she noticed something strange. Mr. Collins's office light was still on. Usually, he was the first to bounce when closing time hit. She peeked through the half-open door. He was stuffing something, looked like merchandise bags, into a big black duffel. When he spotted her shadow, he quickly slammed the door shut and said, "Everything all right, Aaliyah?" His voice was smooth, too smooth. "Yeah," she said slowly, "just locking up." He smiled, tight, fake, like a villain caught mid-act. "Good girl. See you tomorrow." That night, Aaliyah walked home with this weird feeling in her gut. Something wasn't right, but she couldn't put her finger on it. She brushed it off, figured she was just exhausted. Back home, she reheated leftover noodles, scrolled TikTok for a few minutes, and passed out on the couch with her phone in her hand. Morning came too soon. The bus was late, the coffee machine at the store was broken, and her co-worker, Jenna, wouldn't stop gossiping. "You heard about the missing merch?" Jenna whispered while rearranging accessories. "What missing merch?" Aaliyah frowned. Jenna shrugged dramatically. "Collins said some high-end pieces vanished from stock last night. Said he's going to check the cameras." Aaliyah froze. Cameras, missing items, last night. Her mind started spinning. She was the last one in the store. She knew how that looked. Her stomach dropped like she'd just missed a step, but she pushed the fear down. "I didn't take anything," she said quietly, mostly to herself. "Girl, I know," Jenna said, "but you know how this place is. They love a good scapegoat." By lunchtime, the vibe in the boutique had shifted. Whispers, side glances. Even customers seemed to sense the tension. Aaliyah kept her head down and focused on work, praying silently that it would all blow over. At 4 p.m., Mr. Collins called her into his office. The door clicked shut behind her. He folded his hands on the desk and sighed dramatically, like he was about to deliver a sermon. "Aaliyah," he said, "we've got a problem. Some expensive items are missing, and you were the last one here last night." Her heart dropped. "Sir, I didn't take anything." "You can check the footage." He cut her off. Cameras were down. System glitch. So unless you can explain the missing inventory. He leaned back, giving her that smug, "I got you" look. Aaliyah's voice cracked. "I swear, I didn't do it. I would never." "Look, kiddo," he said coldly. "I liked you. But this doesn't look good. I'll have to report it." He stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. "You can collect your stuff." Aaliyah stood frozen, tears burning her eyes, but pride holding them back. She wanted to scream, to fight, to beg, but she knew it wouldn't matter. In that moment, she realized something deeper. People like Mr. Collins didn't see her as a person, just an easy target. She walked out of that store with her head down but her heart heavy, and even though the world was about to crash on her, deep down she whispered to herself, "Truth don't hide forever." She didn't know it yet, but that one line, the truth, was about to change everything. The next few days felt off. Aaliyah could feel the change in the air at Luxe and Lace. The side eyes, the fake smiles, the sudden hush when she walked past. It was like everyone knew something she didn't. Even Jenna, the one person who used to chat with her during lunch, started acting weird. She'd look down at her phone every time Aaliyah tried to talk, mumbling something about being busy with inventory. Something was definitely brewing. By Friday morning, Aaliyah walked in early, like always. The store looked spotless, sunlight bouncing off the glass shelves, everything neat and quiet. Too quiet. Mr. Collins was standing by the register, flipping through papers, face tight like he hadn't slept. When he saw her, that fake polite smile slid across his face. "Morning, Aaliyah," he said, voice dry. "Morning, sir," she replied, setting her bag down. He didn't respond, just stared at her for a second too long, then walked off toward his office. She brushed it off, tried to focus on work, fold the shirts, organize the display, smile for the customers. But her mind was racing. At around 10 a.m., 2 corporate staff from headquarters showed up. One man in a navy suit, One woman with a clipboard and that serious, "We're not here to play" look. They didn't even say hi to anyone. Just went straight into Colin's office. The door shut and muffled voices followed. Aaliyah's heart started pounding. About 30 minutes later, Collins called her name over the intercom. His tone was clipped, sharp. "Aaliyah, can you step into my office, please?" Every head turned as she walked past. Even the customers looked confused. Jenna pretended to be busy folding a rack of scarves, but Aaliyah caught the guilt in her eyes. She stepped inside. Collins was standing, arms crossed. The corporate lady gave her a tight smile, the kind that wasn't friendly at all. "Have a seat," Collins said. Aaliyah sat, hands trembling slightly in her lap. The man in the navy suit cleared his throat. "Aaliyah, as you know, some high-value merchandise has gone missing over the past week. We've been investigating internally." Aaliyah swallowed hard. "Yes, I heard about it, but I don't know anything," Collins interrupted. "You were the last one in the store during the last 2 closing shifts. The items disappeared during those nights." Her chest felt heavy. "That's true, but, sir, I locked everything up. You can check the cameras. I did everything by the book." The woman sighed, exchanging a glance with Collins. "Unfortunately," she said slowly, "the camera system was down both nights." Aaliyah blinked, disbelief spreading through her. "Down? Both nights?" Collins nodded, face expressionless. "Yeah, it's been notified. But right now, it's your word against the missing inventory." Her throat went dry. "Are you saying I stole something?" The man leaned back in his chair. "We're not saying that. Yet. But we need answers." She looked from one to the other, heart racing. This wasn't happening. She'd worked too hard, kept her head down, stayed respectful. And now this? "I didn't take anything," she said firmly. "You can search my bag, my locker, anything. I've done nothing wrong." Collins gave a fake sympathetic smile. "I want to believe you, Aaliyah. Really. But we have to follow procedure." He pulled out a sheet of paper, a written notice of termination. Her stomach flipped. "You're firing me?" He sighed like he was the victim. "We have no choice until this is resolved. You can collect your final paycheck next Friday." Aaliyah felt her world collapse. Her ears buzzed. It was like everything around her went silent, except for her own heartbeat. "I didn't steal," she shouted, voice cracking. "You know I didn't." The lady stood up calmly. "Miss Johnson, please lower your voice. We understand this is upsetting, but the decision's been made." Tears stung her eyes, but she blinked them away. She wasn't about to let them see her break. She stood up slowly, jaw clenched. "Y'all gonna regret this," she said quietly. "'Cause the truth always comes out." "Always," Collins smirked. "We'll see about that." She grabbed her bag and walked out, the whole store staring as she passed. Someone whispered, "Guess she got caught." And another snickered. Aaliyah didn't look back. Her pride wouldn't let her. Outside, the sun was burning hot, but she felt ice cold inside. She sat on the curb, staring at her reflection in the boutique window. The same window she'd cleaned every night, like it meant something. Her reflection looked tired, angry, betrayed. She pulled out her phone, called her mum. "Hey, baby," her mum answered softly. "Mama." Aaliyah's voice cracked. "They fired me. Said I stole from them." There was a long silence on the line. Then her mum whispered, "Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. But you hear me? Don't let them break your spirit. God don't sleep." Aaliyah nodded, even though her mom couldn't see her. "I know, Mama. I worked so hard. For what?" "Sometimes," her mom said, voice trembling. God lets the storm hit just to show who stands when the dust clears. That night, Aaliyah couldn't sleep. Her phone kept blowing up. Texts from co-workers, DMs from people asking if the rumors were true. Someone even posted a video of her walking out of the store crying, captioned, "When karma hits back." It got thousands of views overnight. She threw her phone across the couch and broke down. "I didn't do anything," she sobbed into her hands. "I didn't." Days passed. She stayed home, scrolling job listings, trying not to cry every time she saw a Luxe Lace ad on Instagram. Her rent was due. Her mom's medicine needed refilling. Everything was falling apart. Then, on a random Wednesday morning, her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello?" she answered weakly. "Is this Aaliyah Johnson?" a man's voice asked. "This is Marcus from Luxe Lace Corporate Security." Her stomach tightened. "Yeah, this is her." He sounded serious. "We need you to come down to the store, if possible." "There's been a development," Aaliyah hesitated. "A development?" "Yes, about the theft. We reviewed new footage." Her pulse jumped. "Footage? I thought the cameras were down." He paused. "Apparently not all of them." Her heart started racing. She grabbed her keys so fast they fell to the floor. "I'm on my way." The bus ride felt like forever. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She replayed every moment in her head. Closing the store, locking the register, walking past Colin's office. And then it hit her. That duffel bag, the one he tried to hide. When she stepped into the store, Marcus, tall, calm, mid-30s, was waiting by the counter. He nodded politely. "Miss Johnson, thank you for coming." "What's going on?" she asked. He motioned her toward the back office. Inside, a monitor played surveillance footage, grainy but clear enough. The timestamp showed the night she was fired. And there he was, Mr. Collins, creeping through the store after hours, unlocking the stockroom, loading those same high-end bags into his duffel. He looked straight into the camera at one point, unaware it was recording. Aaliyah covered her mouth, tears welling up. "Oh my God." Marcus nodded. "We're deeply sorry for the misunderstanding. Mr. Collins has been terminated and turned over to the authorities. The company would like to formally apologize to you." Aaliyah laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it felt unreal. All that pain, all that shame, and it could have been stopped if they'd just believed her. As she left the office, sunlight hit her face through the front glass. The same glass she used to wipe every night, whispering, "Someday, it'll all pay off." And now, finally, it had. The moment that video went viral, everything changed, but not in a good way. Even though Aaliyah was proven innocent later, the internet didn't wait for facts. It never does. The clip of her crying outside Luxe Lace had already made rounds on TikTok, stitched with fake stories and cruel comments. Caught stealing and still lying. Girl, just admit it. She got that "I'm guilty but pretending" look. It didn't matter that none of it was true, because once the internet picks a villain, it doesn't care about the truth. Aaliyah sat on her bed that night, scrolling through comments with tears streaming down her face. Every word cut deeper. She wanted to scream, but she didn't. She just sat there, numb, staring at her cracked phone screen, trying to understand how people could be so cruel. Her mom peeked through the door. "Baby, put that phone down. Don't let them break you." But how could she not? Her whole reputation was shredded in a day. Even her old friends from high school had gone quiet. No texts, no calls, nothing. The next morning, she forced herself up, got dressed, and decided to walk downtown. Maybe some fresh air would help. She kept her hoodie up, trying to hide her face. She didn't want to run into anyone from the store. But the city didn't care about her feelings. Every corner she turned, she felt eyes on her. Or maybe it was just paranoia, but it felt real. When she passed Luxe and Lace, she froze. Through the glass window, she saw a new girl behind the counter, light-skinned, hair perfectly flat-ironed, smiling at customers. Her old name tag, Aaliyah, was gone. Just like that. Mr. Collins wasn't there that morning. He'd been fired after the footage came out, but she didn't know that yet. All she knew was that the store looked exactly the same as before, except now, it didn't belong to her. A security guard walked out and recognized her. "Hey, you can't stand here," he said sharply. "I used to work here," she said quietly. "Yeah, well, not anymore," he replied, his tone dripping with judgment. "Move along." The words hit harder than she expected. She turned away, head low, fighting back tears. It felt like being erased. She wandered into a nearby coffee shop and ordered the cheapest thing on the menu. Black coffee, no sugar. The barista gave her that look people give when they think they know your story from online gossip. Aaliyah just paid and sat in the corner. Her reflection in the window looked tired, older than her age. Her mind kept looping back to that moment in Colin's office, the way he smirked when he told her, "We'll see about that." He knew what he'd done. He knew she was innocent. But he'd still thrown her under the bus to save himself. The anger started to replace the pain. Slowly, quietly. She wasn't some fragile girl people could walk over. She was raised by a strong black woman who taught her never to quit. Her mama didn't sacrifice everything for her to let one crooked manager destroy her life. That night, Aaliyah pulled out her old laptop and started typing up a statement. Not some rant, but a clear, powerful message. She wrote about what happened, how she was falsely accused, how the camera footage exposed the truth. She didn't sugarcoat anything. Then she hit post within hours. The internet flipped. People started resharing her story. One big creator, a Justice for Workers, posted, "This right here is why we need accountability in retail jobs. They treat employees like they're disposable." The comments started flooding in. "Wow, I remember that clip. She was innocent? Girl, I'm so sorry you went through that broken heart emoji. Say her name. Aaliyah Johnson deserves better." For the first time in weeks, Aaliyah smiled. Not a full smile, but the kind that comes when you finally see a little light after a long storm. But even as support poured in, the humiliation still lingered. The damage had been done. Every time she stepped outside, she felt like people recognized her face from that viral video. It was a scar that wouldn't fade overnight. Corporate called her again a few days later. "Aaliyah, we're truly sorry for the mistake," the HR manager said. "We'd like to offer you your job back with a raise." Aaliyah laughed. "You think a few extra dollars makes up for what y'all did?" There was an awkward silence on the other end. "We understand this has been difficult, but we'd like to make amends." She sighed. "Nah, y'all didn't believe me when it mattered. Keep the job," she hung up. For the first time in a long while, she felt in control. Still, money was tight. Rent was due. So she picked up a part-time job at a local diner. It wasn't glamorous, greasy tables, long hours, but the people were real. Nobody treated her like trash. The owner, Miss Carla, was an older black woman with a big laugh and a bigger heart. "You Aaliyah, right?" she said one night, wiping down the counter. "Saw your story on TikTok. Girl, you handled yourself like a queen." Aaliyah smiled shyly. Didn't feel like it at the time. Miss Carla patted her shoulder. That's how growth feels, baby. Messy before it's magical. That stuck with her. Every day after that, Aaliyah showed up, worked hard, and kept her head up. The humiliation slowly faded into motivation. She started saving money again. Her mom's health got better. And sometimes, late at night, she'd scroll through her own post just to remind herself, I survived that. But there was still one thing left undone, Mr. Collins. The police had charged him after the footage came out, but he never apologized. Not once. Not even a fake sorry. That burned inside her. One afternoon, she got a call from a local reporter. Hi, this is Jasmine from Channel 9 News. We're covering workplace injustice stories, and yours really resonated with us. Would you be open to an interview? Aaliyah hesitated, then smiled. Yeah, I'd like that. That night, she stood in front of the camera, dressed simple but confident, her curls loose, her voice steady. She told her story from start to finish, every lie, every tear, every truth that the camera finally revealed. By the time the segment aired, her DMs were flooded with messages from people saying, "You gave me courage to stand up too." It wasn't just her story anymore. It was everyone's. And when she walked past Luxe and Lace a week later, she didn't look at it with pain anymore. She looked at it like a chapter that was done, a lesson, not a loss. She whispered to herself, "They took my peace, but the truth gave it back double." And this time, when she smiled, it wasn't forced, it was freedom. The air inside the corporate office was cold, sharp, and quiet, like the calm before a thunderstorm. Aaliyah sat across the long glass table, her palms resting flat, heart pounding but eyes steady. This was the same place where they'd once treated her like a criminal, the same place that broke her spirit. But this time, she wasn't the accused, she was the truth. The head of corporate, a tall woman in a navy suit with diamond stud earrings, cleared her throat. "Miss Johnson, first of all, we owe you a massive apology." Aaliyah just nodded. No fake smiles, no forced forgiveness. She was done playing nice for people who didn't see her worth. The woman continued, her voice a little shaky now. "Our tech department discovered that one of the internal cameras wasn't actually offline during the reported thefts. The footage clearly shows that Mr. Collins was the one removing the merchandise from the stockroom after hours." Aaliyah didn't say a word. She already knew. She'd seen the clip, watched him sneaking around the store like a rat, stuffing bags into his car, thinking no one would ever find out. The woman went on, "He's been terminated immediately and is currently under investigation by law enforcement. We're deeply sorry for what you endured." Aaliyah leaned back, crossing her arms. "You should be." There was silence, the kind that hangs heavy in the air. She didn't owe them comfort. She didn't owe them forgiveness. After a moment, the woman slid an envelope across the table. "The company would also like to offer you compensation for emotional distress and damages to your reputation." Aaliyah looked at it, then at her. "Money doesn't fix what y'all did." "I understand," the woman said softly, "but we want to make this right." Aaliyah sighed, eyes narrowing. "You want to make it right? Start by changing how you treat people. Stop looking at folks like me like we're disposable. I didn't just lose a job. I lost my peace." The woman nodded slowly, visibly humbled. Aaliyah stood up, slid the envelope back toward her, and said, "Keep it. I'll earn mine the right way." Then she walked out, head high, heels clicking like thunder. Outside, the wind hit her face, and for the first time in months, she felt free. Not just from the job, but from everything that came with it. The lies, the shame, the doubt. That night, Aaliyah sat on her small balcony, sipping tea and watching the city lights flicker below. Her phone buzzed again. It hadn't stopped since the TV interview aired. Messages from strangers poured in. "Girl, you're so strong. You give me hope. I went through something like this too. Thank you for speaking out. Keep shining, sis." Truth always wins. For the first time, she didn't cry reading them. She smiled. Her story wasn't just pain anymore. It was proof. Her mom stepped outside, wrapped in a blanket. "You did good, baby." Aaliyah chuckled softly. "Took a while, huh?" Her mom nodded. "The truth don't rush. It waits till you're strong enough to carry it." They sat in silence for a moment, the city humming beneath them. Then her mom asked, "What you gonna do now?" Aaliyah looked out over the skyline. "Start fresh. No more surviving. I'm gonna build something that's mine." The next week, Aaliyah opened a new TikTok account, not to rant, but to educate. She started posting about workplace rights, how to protect yourself from false accusations, how to handle HR the smart way. Her videos blew up fast. People didn't just follow her, they trusted her. She wasn't the girl who got fired anymore. She was the girl who fought back and won, and when a news outlet invited her for a podcast, she walked into the studio like she belonged there. Because she did. The host asked, "Aaliyah, when you look back at everything that happened, what lesson did it teach you?" Aaliyah smiled. That sometimes the truth don't need a voice, it just needs time and proof. You can lie with your mouth, but you can't lie to a camera. The studio went silent. You could almost feel the respect. Meanwhile, Mr. Collins's name hit every headline. Store manager arrested for theft, framing employee. Viral worker proven innocent after hidden footage surfaces. He lost his job, his reputation, and his fancy little lifestyle. Karma didn't knock. It kicked the door open. Aaliyah didn't even celebrate his downfall. She didn't need to. She just watched the news quietly, whispered, "Thank you, God," and turned the TV off. She had better things to focus on, like her new dream. She'd started sketching designs again, something she hadn't done since high school. Fashion was always her first love, but life had made her forget that. Now, she was making plans for her own clothing line. Proof Apparel. Her slogan, "Truth never hides." It started small, handmade t-shirts sold through Instagram. But within a few months, her story gave the brand a following. Every shirt she printed carried a piece of her journey. People weren't just buying clothes, they were buying courage. A few weeks later, she got a message from one of her old co-workers, Jenna. "Hey girl, just wanted to say I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you." I was scared. Aaliyah took a deep breath, typed back, "It's cool, Jenna. Fear makes people freeze. I just learned how to move." And that was that. No grudges, no hate, just peace. Months passed. The world moved on, but Aaliyah didn't fade away. She grew. Her brand flourished. Her confidence bloomed. And every time she saw a camera, whether in a store or a streetlight, she smiled. Because to her, that little lens symbolized justice, proof, redemption. One evening, she returned to Luxe and Lace, not to shop, not to confront, but to close her story. The store had new staff, new decor, new energy. She stood across the street, looked at the glass doors one last time, and whispered, "Thank you for the lesson." Then she walked away, head high, curls bouncing, sunlight kissing her skin, because the girl who once cried on that curb was gone. Now, there was only the woman who turned her pain into power. They accused her of stealing. But she took back her truth. And this time, the camera didn't just save her, it made her unstoppable. The news about Mr. Collins spread faster than summer gossip in a small town. He was caught, fired, charged. And all those who'd once whispered behind Aaliyah's back were now watching in silence, pretending they hadn't believed the worst about her. Justice didn't knock politely this time. It stormed in. Aaliyah didn't need revenge. The truth had already done its job. Seeing his mugshot pop up on her phone one morning was enough. She didn't smile, didn't gloat. She just whispered, "Told y'all truth don't hide forever." It was poetic. The same man who tried to ruin her name got his dragged through every news outlet in town. Every clip, every headline said her name too. But this time, with respect. Aaliyah Johnson, falsely accused retail worker, cleared by surveillance footage. Camera footage exposes corrupt manager, employee's innocence proven. Her phone buzzed non-stop. Interviews, brand deals, even a few modeling offers. Crazy how fast people change when the spotlight shifts. But Aaliyah didn't chase fame. She wasn't about to turn her pain into clout. She wanted purpose. So, she kept building Proof Apparel, her small brand with a big message. Every design had a quote stitched inside the collar, invisible to others, but a reminder for the one wearing it. One shirt said, "You can lie loud, but truth speaks louder." Another read, "Faith over fear, always." Her followers grew fast, not just because of her designs, but because of what she stood for. People didn't see her as the girl from that video anymore. She was now the voice for everyone who'd ever been doubted, mistreated, or framed. One afternoon, months later, she got invited to speak at a youth empowerment event in Atlanta. The auditorium was packed. College kids, single moms, store workers, young women just like her. The same kind of people who get overlooked every day. When she stepped onto that stage, the crowd went silent. Cameras flashed. She took a deep breath, adjusted the mic and said, "My name's Aaliyah Johnson. A while back, my boss accused me of stealing, said the cameras were broken, but turns out the cameras were working, and so was God." The crowd erupted into applause. Some people even stood up. She smiled, continued, "They tried to take my job, my peace, my name, but they couldn't take my truth." See, when people lie on you, don't waste time fighting with words. Let your truth work in silence. It'll speak when it's ready. Her voice cracked slightly at the end, but that only made it more real. When the event ended, people lined up to hug her, thank her, share their own stories. One woman said, "Because of you, I finally quit my toxic job." Another whispered, "You gave me courage to stand up for myself." And that right there, meant more than any paycheck ever could. Later that night, Aaliyah and her mom sat outside their apartment, just like they used to before everything happened. The sky was deep blue, city lights blinking below. Her mom leaned back in her chair and said, "Look at you now, baby. I told you God don't sleep." Aaliyah smiled. "You were right, Mama. I had to go through the storm to see the rainbow." Her mom laughed. "You sound like one of those inspirational TikTok girls." Aaliyah chuckled too, sipping her lemonade. "Guess I earned it." They sat there in comfortable silence, a peace that felt new, calm, clean, and deserved. Weeks later, she passed by Luxe Lace one last time. The store had changed. New logo, new manager, new everything. But as she looked through the glass, she saw something that made her pause. In the corner, near the counter, hung a small sign that said, Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching. A small smile tugged at her lips. She didn't know if they put that up because of her, but deep down, she knew they did. She took a deep breath, whispered, "Guess they finally learned," and walked away. Back home, she opened her sketchbook. On the first page, she wrote, "This chapter is done, but my story's just getting started." Then, she drew a design. A girl standing under a storm with lightning all around her, but holding her head high. Underneath it, she wrote her next slogan, "Proof never dies." And when she looked up at the camera on her desk, the same one that had once terrified her, she smiled and hit record. "Hey y'all," she began softly. "My name's Aaliyah Johnson. Some of y'all know me from that story. But let me tell you something. Being broken doesn't mean you're done. Sometimes it just means God's rebuilding you better." Her tone was calm, her smile steady. This wasn't the tearful girl from months ago. This was a woman who had turned pain into power, scars into strength, and lies into legacy. The video went viral overnight, again, but this time for all the right reasons. A few months later, her clothing brand had a booth at a small Atlanta pop-up market. Crowds lined up to buy her merch, to take selfies, to thank her in person. Aaliyah looked around and thought, "This is what healing looks like." She spotted a young girl near the back, nervous, holding a small notebook. The girl whispered, "I want to start a business too, but I'm scared." Aaliyah smiled and handed her a free t-shirt. "Fear's normal, baby, but you can't let it own you. Remember this," she pointed to the shirt's tag. "Truth always wins, even when it takes its sweet time." The girl grinned. "Thank you, Miss Aaliyah." Aaliyah winked. "Just call me Proof." That night, Aaliyah closed her booth, counted her earnings, and sat under the string lights above the market. She didn't have millions in the bank. She didn't own a fancy car, but she had peace, and that was worth more than anything. She looked up at the night sky and said softly, "You can lie with words, you can twist stories, but truth got a way of finding the light." Then she smiled and walked off into that Atlanta night, head high, curls bouncing, wearing a t-shirt that read, "Her boss accused her of stealing, but the camera saved her."